been pretty certain that white supremacists are the single biggest problem that we face in this nation. In fact, that group even managed to lead something called an insurrection against the Capitol last week. Some of those white supremacists aren't even white, it turns out. They're in disguise, and that's how big this problem is. What's interesting is that given that this country apparently is overrun with crazed bigots, you might think that Democrats would want to keep immigrants from other countries far away just for their own protection. That seems logical. And of course, if Democrats believed what they were saying about white supremacy, that would be their position. But it's the opposite. Instead of doing everything they can to encourage more people to come here as quickly as possible, because illegal immigration isn't dangerous, some laws are not worth upholding, turns out. Joe Biden told us last year it was inspiring.
Guess what? They're the reason why. The legal as well as undocumented are the reason why our society is functioning, the reason why our economy is growing. We don't talk about that. We stand up and act like it's a burden. It is not a burden. It's a gift.
What's a gift? Illegal immigration is a gift. Breaking the law is a gift, like childbirth is a gift. In fact, it's better than that. When minors from Guatemala stream across the border either alone or packed together in the back of a smuggler's truck, this country experiences something beautiful. I mean, they suffer, but we benefit. Yeah, it's a good thing. And again, these are the same people with a straight face who are telling you right now that the law is sacrosanct and anyone who breaks it should be punished. But that's a kind of law breaking that they're completely for. Now, keep in mind, according to Joe Biden, that their presence here is enriching to all of us, and anyone who says otherwise is clearly a bigot. So suddenly all those unhappy single women whose biggest life achievement was majoring in British literature at Georgetown really aren't single anymore. They have children. What's more beautiful than that? You're not supposed to notice it right now. There was that insurrection after all. But Joe Biden wants you to know you should be happy of it. Thousands of new people here. 330 million people in the country now. We could get to 400 million. No debate. You should be happy. Biden's doing everything he can to make that happen. The first 100 days of my administration, no one, he said, no one will be deported at all. He promised that last March at a debate. And no one means no one. Murderers, rapists, they can stay too. After 100 days, Joe Biden says he will deport felons. And what's a felon, you might ask? On that question turns a lot. According to Joe Biden, not all felons qualify as felons.
You only arrest for the purpose of dealing with a felony that's committed, and I don't count drunk driving as a felony.
Oh, so drunk driving's totally fine. Now, you were raised to think drunk driving was terrible and you'd go to jail if you did it because other people die in drunk driving accidents. But when people from other countries who are here illegally get busted for drunk driving, that's wrong. That's not a big deal. So stop being so uptight about other people's drunk driving. Business owners, by the way, no drunk driving for them. They'll go to jail for defying the lockdowns. Meanwhile, House Democrats passed legislation retroactively towards stimulus payments to people here illegally. Joe Biden is likely to sign similar legislation into law. So as you're waiting for your $1,200 check or watching your business die or going broke or knowing with dead certainty that your kids will never live as well as you do, he's giving money to people who have no right to be here in the first place. And that's just the first step. After that, citizenship to millions of people who are already here. So what effect will that have on millions of Americans who are already displaced in their own country? People who can't find jobs or are worried about the future. Well, according to Joe Biden, those people aren't really American at all. Last January, he said that out loud. If you don't go to school and do well, then you are less American than the migrants streaming across the border. Watch.
These kids have come. They've done well. Most of these kids, there's a lot of them, and they're not just Hispanic, they're Asian Pacific Islanders as well. And they, in fact, have done very, very well. In many cases, they're more Americans than most Americans are because they have done well in school. They believe the basic principles that we all share.
That's really dark. They're more American than most Americans are. Right. No, we're more American because we're citizens, and they're breaking our laws. But no, Joe Biden, they're more Americans than most Americans are because they've done well in school. It would be hard to find a more succinct summation of how the modern Democratic Party thinks or how it sees you. If you don't have a 4-year degree from Wesleyan, you're the real illegal immigrant. Meanwhile, Biden's proposals are already causing a surge of illegal immigration. Data shows illegal border crossings rose after the November election, not surprisingly. People aren't stupid. The Border Patrol encountered nearly double the number of illegal immigrants in December as they did the year before. We've seen that before. The summer of 2014, Central American migrants were flooding into Texas, and in response to that, the Obama administration did not close the border. Instead, the State Department started an advertising blitz in Central America. Advertisements vowed that anyone trying to cross the border without documents would face, quote, immediate deportation. That was a lie, and because it was a lie, it didn't work. People in Central America, again, are not stupid. They have every incentive to come here. Many are great people, by the way, not attacking them personally, attacking the people who make our laws knowing they will be violated. Everyone in Central America knew they could bring their family members with them or make frivolous asylum claims and walk across the border. It was common knowledge. Even the most skilled liars in the United States government, even Barack Obama, couldn't convince them otherwise. Joe Biden wants to pretend that never happened. Trust me, he told migrants and immigration activists last month. But they don't have any reason to do that. Now Joe Biden is simultaneously claiming that America is overrun with Nazis and that immigrants should move here as quickly as possible. It doesn't even make sense, or maybe it does make a kind of dark sense. In a matter of weeks, Americans, the people Joe Biden thinks are the real illegal aliens in their own country, will suffer the consequences of these policies. So everyone who voted for